6:31. You want to go ahead and get started, Commissioner?
Sure, I don't know. Do we have other staff? I'm trying to see if we have other staff. I know the developer is on.
No, Commissioner, no one from county staff.
Okay, that's
No.
perfect. So I just wanted to come on and greet the members of the council and the community this evening. And I am here to hear their concerns, and hopefully the developer can answer some of those concerns, and we'll go from there. But thank you.
Okay, thank you for joining in. I know we have a few more representatives here. We got someone from Congressman Val Deming's office here. Mark is on the line. Thanks, Mark, for joining us. And we have someone from Representative Camille Brown's office here. So thank you, Arthena, for joining us, and people are joining in. Again, thank you all for joining in tonight. This is a meeting that's been hosted by the Pine Hills Community Council. I see some new faces on the line tonight. So just a couple of statements as who the council is and what we do. We are your local nonprofit 501c4 nonpartisan civic organization that invests our interests directly into the community at the local, state, and national level. We also stand on three pillars, like I like to say. We strengthen education in this community. We help with economic empowerment, and we do effective engagement with the residents in the community. We're all volunteers, and we've been around for, I think, over 50 years. I'm your president. I've been the president for the last couple of years. It's been an honor to be a president. There are a couple of board members here. I just want to introduce you to the board members that are here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Board members, I see Dr. Nichols. Wave your hand, Dr. Nichols. She is the chair and the vice chair of our anti-litter beautification committee. And I think we have Ken. Is Ken still on the line? Ken is a board member. Is there any other board member here that I don't see that I'm missing? Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to welcome Aaron Vargas. We'll hear about the Whispering Oaks development that's coming, that has plans to develop into the Pine Hills area. And so, Aaron, you have the stage. Thank you for being a part of this discussion tonight. And thank you for wanting to be a part of the community, to show that you want to partner with the community that you want to invest in. So thank you for asking us to host this meeting for you tonight. Aaron.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all for scheduling this meeting. I know that this isn't the normal time that you all have your community council meeting. So thank you very much for scheduling it. Like you said, we do want to, be able to hear your concerns and try to be as transparent as possible with what we're looking to do in your community. So I think our number one goal, and me being here in Grand is I believe on the line as well, representing the developer owner of the property. Our number one goal right now is to listen, is to hear from you all, to understand what your concerns are, what your questions are. Certainly if you have questions, hopefully I'll be able to answer those, and I'll do my best to speak to any concerns. But I think the number one goal of us being here tonight is to hear from you all and to listen. I do want to mention, I know that this will be an affordable housing development, and I know that affordable housing can sometimes bring up a lot of negative connotations, and there's a lot of different types that kind of get lumped all in together as affordable housing. So just wanted to be clear that this would be a tax credit development. So it would not be a subsidized property, meaning the tenants are paying 100% of the rent, all from them. The government isn't subsidizing any rent or anything like that. And the way we have this property proposed, households earning up to about $50,000 could stay at Whispering Oaks. So just wanted to make sure that from the start, everyone understood what type of development it was going to be. And I know affordable housing can, all kinds of images and things come to mind, but this will be a tax credit development, and we're excited. We think it'll be a really great addition, and I look forward to hearing from you all and hearing your concerns or questions.
Did you want to, hold on a second. Did you want to show about the development, what it's going to look like? And so for those that may have questions, not everyone know your plan of how many units that you plan to build and the layout of the units. So do you want me to share the screen with you at this point, Aaron, so you could show some pictures to those that will be seeing this for the first time?
Yeah, definitely. That would be great. I can pull it up right here.
I'm gonna make you a co-host.
Okay.
No, let me go back. No. I'm gonna take, I had, Dr. Nichols, give me co-host back. I'm gonna make Aaron host. Make you host. Okay, go ahead, and Aaron, you should be able to share your screen.
Let's see. All right. Can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the general layout of what Whispering Oaks would look like. So it's going to be 8 residential buildings. Those would be 3-story garden buildings. So there would be no elevators. There'd be walk-ups. This down here would be a clubhouse. And these kind of little oval shaped things here, retention pond. So, and there's going to be some green space here. So this would be the general layout of the property. It's right now proposed to be 192 units. And again, these would be 8 3-story buildings with a clubhouse down here. And this is, as you can see here, labeled Hiawassee Road. And then a little bit up further towards the north is Silver Star Road. So we are in the very early stages. We haven't submitted for any kind of site plan approvals or anything like that. Right now, we're just going through the process of a special exception and a height variance. Right now, the current maximum height in this zoning area would be, or is 35 feet. And we are requesting that increase to 43 feet, which is very similar to, there's an apartment property directly to the north. I'm sure you all are familiar. It would be very similar in height to that property. But this right now is the general layout for Whispering Oaks. And I can show it now. I kind of wanted to hear a little bit more from the community first, but I did hear some of the concerns in the BZA meeting earlier this month. And one of them was about shadows and what type of shadows would be created with a tall property. So we did go ahead and engage a shadow study, and I can bring this up again.
Thank you.
So there are 4 images: the summer in the morning, summer in the evening, and then
Rosalind, mute your
Yes.
phone, mute your line, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
So they'll bring up 4 images. So it'll be summer and winter in the evening and in the morning. And these would be peak hours. So at this point, this is the point where the shadows would be the largest. After this, the sun's going to start to go down and they'll start to actually shrink, and before the shadows would be smaller as well. So this is peak hours in the summer morning. You see there is some shadows that go towards Hiawassee Road, but they don't overlap any single family home.
Okay.
And then this would be summer evening hours, so about 7:40 at night, and no concerns at all. Again, this over here to the east, I want to say that's owned by the county.
Yes, it is.
Retention pond over there, so that won't ever be developed with a single family home or anything like that. In the winter months, shadows change a little bit, and again they go towards Hiawassee Road, but not over the top of any single family home. And then in the winter evening months, shadows again shift some more. This opening here, I believe, is also owned by the county, and it sits pretty low. It looked like it'd be a pretty tough parcel to develop with a home. But even so, the shadows reach close to some houses, but definitely not over the top. I know at the BZA meeting, there were some concerns that some people in the community were thinking about solar panels and that sort of thing. And we definitely don't want to restrict anybody from energy efficiency at their house. And luckily these buildings don't overlap any roofs or anything. So it shouldn't disturb any solar panels that any of the community members wanted to put at their homes. So again, I can kind of scroll through those again. This is winter in the morning. Again, these are peak hours, so the shadows will likely not get much bigger than this at all. Summer in the evening, and then summer in the morning.
Okay, very good, very good. Thanks for sharing that, Aaron. Go back to your site screen, please.
Okay.
The other picture.
This one here?
Yes, please. Now, the whole purpose of this, the planning and the special exception and the variance. There was two things that you're going before the planning committee for, a variance and a special exception. Will you explain to the audience what the variance was all about and explain about these numbers over here, the 190, 191 and the 3 and the 30? Those,
yeah.
Please, thank you.
So the special exception, so we're currently zoned, I believe it's R3, which is a medium density residential zoning. So we're not requesting to increase the density. We're not asking to build more units than what is currently allowed based on the current code. But what the special exception is for is because in this area, if you're more than 1 story and within 100 feet of a property that's zoned single family, then you need a special exception. And like I mentioned earlier, these are going to be 3-story buildings, and we're within 100 feet. You see here, this is the distance, 30 feet to this parcel. Now we tried to configure the site in a way where we would be least disruptive as possible to any future development when future houses go up or anything like that. So one of the reasons why we chose this up here is because, like we mentioned earlier, this is owned by the county, and I believe is currently a retention pond. So very unlikely that a home will ever be developed in that area. So on all the other portions of the site, we're more than 100 feet away from the perimeter of the site, 130 feet, 180, 126. So the special exception is because of the proximity of this building to a parcel that's zoned single family. So that's a special exception. The height variance, the current zoning allows for 35 feet, the maximum height. That's all the way to the very top of the roof pitch, maximum of 35 feet. The way that we have designed our buildings, they would be 43 feet. One of the reasons that we did that is because we talked to our architect, and it would be difficult but possible to get it 35 feet. But the problem is, you're talking about very low ceilings and you're talking about a flat roof. We really don't like the way that looks. I think if you've ever driven by properties that have, unless you're in maybe like a downtown setting or it's a mid-rise building, 5 or 6 stories, then that's okay. But for garden buildings, we really don't like the way it looks, and we don't think it would be a positive, aesthetically, a positive addition to the community to have a flat roof buildings in this location. So that's why we went to 43 feet pitched roofs. They have, it's going to be a really good looking property. I should have brought some pictures of some other properties that have similar looks. But I guess one other addition to that is, again, the property directly to the north up here, based on, I was able to look up the building permit submission back when it was developed, and they're also at about 43 feet. So it's not going to be something where, we're a lot taller than everything else around us. We're going to be pretty consistent, especially considering the property directly to the north. But again, that's the height variance that we are requesting, because currently it's 35 feet and we're going to be a little bit higher at 43 feet.
Thank you so much. Let me take a moment here and pause and do something. Dr. Nichols, give me back the, am I back on the host or the co-host? Because people are trying to get into the meeting, and either you and Aaron, the only person that can let them in, because I gave you host.
Yes, I am letting them in, Patricia.
Okay, thank you.
And yes, you are the co-host at this point after Aaron gives it back over to you. Got you
Okay,
covered.
I'm getting text message say I'm trying to get in the meeting, so.
I
so
just let 2 people in.
But thank you very much.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
okay. So sorry about that, but I want as many people to participate as possible. So Aaron, let's go back to, so I can see everyone again. If you could stop sharing for a moment, please.
Oh, yeah.
And so I could be able to see the hands. So at this point, if they want to ask questions, I'm going to take your hand. I'm going to recognize hands, or for those that want to ask questions about what you just saw or what you just heard, and your concerns. Aaron, you were at the meeting, I was at the meeting, and we know one of our primary concerns was traffic, as far as a traffic study on that Hiawassee Road. We're extremely busy right in that point during the peak hours of the day. That traffic is extremely busy in the morning times and in the afternoon, Aaron. And I've talked to many residents that live on Hiawassee that doesn't even live close to that area, but they avoid Hiawassee Road because of the traffic. So what is the plans for getting a traffic study done, or has a traffic study been done? In addition to a traffic study area, how about a safety study?
Yes, ma'am. So once we heard you all speak and a few different people speak earlier this month at the BZA meeting, we talked to a traffic engineer, and we've signed him up to do a traffic study for us. It's a little bit early as far as in the site planning process for a traffic study, but once we heard from you all earlier this month, we understand that, it's 192 units, and that can be a little scary. So we want to make sure that we understand what the effect is going to be with regard to traffic, among a lot of other things, but definitely with respect to traffic. It's a pretty extensive study. So unfortunately, he won't be able to complete it before the BOCC meeting next week.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but we were able to contact the traffic engineer and get with him. We're seeing if he can put together anything for us, just so before early next week, before the BOCC meeting. That too is a pretty quick turn, but we did engage a traffic study, and we also want to understand what the effects are going to be on a road that seems to already have some busyness to it.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? The other concern too,
I have a question.
and who is that?
That's Bertina.
Okay, Bettina.
I'm sorry. I was just wondering if the Orange County had done a traffic, already done some traffic studies that he could plug into. Or if Metroplan had done some studies. Because they put in a signal light there by the Agape Church, which is now abandoned. To do that, they had to have traffic numbers. So you should be able to log on and get those numbers. That's why they put the traffic light there at Agape.
Yeah, that's something that we can definitely reach out to Orange County about. I think what would the biggest part and the biggest benefit of a new traffic study is what the addition of those 192 units will do based on what is currently happening on Hiawassee Road.
Well,
that's definitely
what it will help you with is that you will learn what happened when they put in Alta Westgate, how it impacted Hiawassee when they put in that complex. So you could take the number of units there plus the number of units you tend to put in Whispering Oaks, and you can extrapolate that if they had to put a traffic light there because of the initial traffic problem, that perhaps this is that the way you have the site configured is going to make it impossible for people to get in and out of there, as well as to back up the traffic goes all the way to Hiawassee and Hennepin. Sometimes the traffic backs up to Hennepin.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we can definitely do some digging and see. I'm sure that when Alta was developed, they did a traffic study. If it was part of a site plan submission, then it could be public record, but we can certainly reach out to Orange County and see if we can get our hands on that.
Yeah, it would be the traffic light. The traffic light came in afterwards.
He said he's going to check into that and get back with us, Aaron. You have
After
my
the
email.
traffic light.
He has the council, thank you, Bettina. He has the council email address and he have my information, my telephone number, and I have his number. So he said that he would check into that and see what's there. And from there, he would get back with us. And I understand your point, Bettina. That's something he can build upon. But he did say that he will check into that and get back with us. So Aaron, we will stay in contact with that. And of course, we know that that will not happen between now and next Tuesday for the Board of County Commissioner meeting. So we're gonna hold you to your word, just like we held you to your word this time, reaching out to us, and I appreciate that. Any more
Okay.
questions? 'Cause-
I had my hand up.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Roslyn.
Okay, Aaron, I spoke with you at the meeting. I'm not sure if you remember. I had asked about the traffic study and I also talked about the trash. And I have two questions. Will there be a wall around that property?
So currently there won't be a full wall. Right now, the plan is to have what's called the landscape buffer. So we'll have some trees and bushes that are surrounding the perimeter of the property. There will be, I believe on the southern portion of the site, because there's a little bit of a drop on the southern portion of the site. We have had some discussions with our engineer if a wall would be helpful on the southern portion. But that's a little bit further down the road in the site planning process.
Okay, because I'm sorry.
Hold on a second, Roslyn. Aaron, pull your map up again and show them the southern portion, please. I think you still a co-host or something. Can you share again?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Aaron.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, can you see
There
that
we
now?
go. Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay, great.
So what's the southern,
I'm sorry, what's that?
show us the southern portion where the wall.
Oh, so here there's a little bit of a drop, an elevation change here. So we've had some discussions with a civil engineer if there'll be if it's going to be needed to put a wall here, but we'll have a landscape buffer around the perimeter, and then we'll also have a fence, which we'll put around the perimeter as well.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Stippens just put in here, said, please be informed that this is not coming before the Board of County Commissioner on the 24th, next Tuesday. Okay.
No, ma'am, this item is not on the agenda to be discussed at the Board of County Commissioners for a decision on Tuesday. So I just heard they're saying it's coming to the board on Tuesday, but this particular item, I did not see it on the agenda to be as an item on the coming before the board. Maybe in the future, definitely, but not Tuesday.
Okay.
Interesting.
The young lady at the meeting said that, Aaron, did she say that in closing?
She did.
Yes.
She did say that.
Yes.
Maybe in a future, yeah, probably future.
About Whispering Oaks, and the guy told me that wasn't going to be on there. Okay.
Yeah, maybe a future board meeting. Yeah, future board meeting, but not Tuesday. So I was like, what? Yeah, okay.
I'll have to reach out about that and find out when it
Let me
will
go
be
do this
on the
computer.
agenda.
Okay.
Someone has a question in the chat about, is there were you finished, Rosalind?
No, I'm not.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you, Commissioner Stippling.
Okay,
Rosalind.
because the reason I asked, because I see it appears that the first building will be very, very close to Hiawassee Road. And that's just across the street from the single family residence. And my other question is, we had also talked about the trash.
Mhm.
And my question is, are you all, since Westgate came on, we have so much trash on Hiawassee Road. Are you all thinking of maybe adopting a road or partnering with somebody so you can help clean up Hiawassee Road? Because since Westgate here, there's so much trash on Hiawassee Road that we constantly have to clean it up. So do you have any ideas about that?
Yeah, so we will have part of our maintenance will be making sure that the property is clean. We'll have compactors on site and dumpsters on site, but it's certainly it's in our best interest also to keep the community, not just our community and this property clean, but in the surrounding areas as well. So I know part of our all of our maintenance staff, that's one of the things that they're tasked with, is making sure that trash is cleaned up and the property is kept nice and clean.
Thank you. Dr. Nichols, hold on for a second. I see your hand up, but there's someone that has to leave at 7. So let me just address these 2 quick questions that's in chat before that person leaves, Dr. Nichols, and then I'll come back to you, please. And the 2 questions would there be an area for children? Maybe a tiny top park, I don't know what something for children. And what about security? Would there be any security on site?
Yeah, so typically we do incorporate a tot lot or a small playground on our properties. So as we again move a little bit further into the site planning process, that's usually something that we implement on all of our properties is a little playground or tot lot. And then security, most of the times we'll have security cameras. That really depends on the area and depends on if problems arise and that sort of thing, if we incorporate patrols or something like that. But security is always something that we want to keep in mind, and we want to make sure that you know, people who live at the property feel safe, and then everyone around the community feels safe as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Nichols, your hand is recognized.
Thank you. And thank you, Erin, for meeting with us tonight and answering our questions about the new apartment community. I was basically interested in the actual affordability. You mentioned 50,000 as a possibility. Is that the cap? What's your floor and ceiling as far as your residential ranges that you're looking for there?
Yeah, so everyone who lives at the property, as far as a minimum income, will have to make at least 2 times the current rent. And then the maximum is based on the area median income. So the larger units, the 3-bedroom units, these, I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but this property will be all 2 and 3-bedroom units. The 3-bedroom units, the maximum income would be right at about $50,000, and the maximum income for 2-bedroom units would be, I believe, about $43,000, and that's the max that through the tax credit process that those tenants would be qualified to live in these units.
Speaking of,
thank you.
Speaking of qualifications, someone put a question in the chat, Erin, about what will be the process of screening. And then I have a question. What would be the size of the 2 and 3 bedrooms, please?
So we'll have a management staff that takes tenants through basically the typical background check, credit check, those types of things that you would find at you know, any typical apartment property. There's, you know, a few more checks that have to be done based on, like we were talking about earlier, the income qualifications. So there's some additional layers to that, but we do just like you would if you were trying to rent any market rate apartment around Orange County. You know, credit checks, background checks, all those types of things to make sure that we get, you know, some quality tenants in there to the property.
Yeah. Rosemary Deal, I see that you're on the line. Were you on the call when Erin talked about the shadow? Because you proposed that question at the zoning meeting. Rosemary? Okay. Any more questions? Let me get out of here. Side by side. Okay, Erin, if you could stop sharing, please, so I can see who's there.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hey, Patricia, I did have one more question I just thought about when we talked about the background screening. That does include sex offenders, et cetera, since it's going to be a community with hopefully children of all ages. So that's certainly of concern. Just want to make sure it's going to be a part of the process.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely will.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question too.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question regarding the number of proposed the 2 and 3 bedroom. It with the that many units, sounds like you have a large number of children. And is there any, how that's going to impact Hiawassee Elementary?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the commissioners may have spoke to that briefly at the BZA meeting earlier this month, but I do know that one of as we go through the development process, there's something that's called an impact fee. And those are fees that developers pay towards different things, whether it's transportation, parks, schools is one of them, fire, police officers, that type of thing. So there is definitely going to be a significant fee that comes along with 192 units that will go towards Orange County schools to help with the size of classes increase or anything like that. School concurrency is definitely part of the site plan approval process. So that's something that the county is going to look very hard at as we move through the process. Again, the height variance and the special exception maybe won't take as much of that into account, but certainly all the other approvals that we go through, school concurrency will definitely be a part of that.
I've got a question. I'm going to share a screen. Can y'all see this screen? No.
No.
Okay, because I have a question to Commissioner, if she could answer this question, or even not even answer, but just host is able to. Yes.
Yeah, sure, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Let me see if I can share this screen. I need host to say, I need Erin to give me the host back. I want to share something on the screen.
Let's see. Oh.
Well, maybe you did. Let me try this. Let me try this. Let me do what I want to do.
Huh.
Okay. Well, Commissioner, that is a piece of property that is, I'm trying to pull it up. I could pull it up, but I cannot share the screen. There's a piece of property, Commission, in the next to the
Sorry about that, Ms. Herbert. I think I just made you host again.
okay, good, thank you. Share screen. There we go. Yes, you did.
At this
Thank
point,
you.
I know how to use Zoom better, but
Hey, I panic every time I get on this machine. I'm gonna tell you, because you never know what it's gonna do. But I think this piece of property here, let's see if I can share this thing. See, I'm still fooling with it. And I really want to show this. Cancel this. Oh my goodness. Are there any more questions while I figure this out again?
I have some question, and one other question about access to the property.
Okay.
I have concern that the one building isn't buffered enough for Hiawassee to be right next to even though it's within the limits, that it's too close. And also the fact that there's only one way in and one way out. I feel that the 192 units is too ambitious for the structure of that site. And one of it is because you can only have one way in and one way out unless they have some type of off-road entry where people can queue up to turn in, where you get out into a turning lane and queue and not just come off of the Hiawassee Road.
I'm not sure how he's going to fix that one way in and one way out, Bettina.
Well, sometimes they can add a turning lane for people going into.
This is Brianne from Southport. The
Thank
one way
you.
in and the one way out is a safety issue. So we like to have controlled access to the property so that folks aren't using this to cut through or dump items, etc. However, in our site plan approval process, again, which we're going to go through, more than likely there will be Hiawassee improvements that will be required to, deceleration lane, a turn lane into the property, etc. So we're waiting.
We are
for
getting so
the-
much, wait, Brianna, we are getting so much feedback from somebody. I'm not sure who the feedback is from. Well, not
Sorry.
feedback, is noise in the background. If Brianna, the only person that's speaking, so can everyone else
Must
mute
be
their?
me.
That's who?
It must be me. I don't know. I will
Okay,
move areas.
okay. Thank you.
Sorry. Okay, there, that's gotta be better.
Thank you.
So yes, well, there'll be deceleration lanes and probably turn lanes that'll be required. Again, that's all part of the Orange County review. And with us being in the concurrency of the neighborhood.
Did you get that, Bettina?
I did get that. I heard that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Because like I said, it was a lot of noise in the back. And Brianna is the owner of the property. Is that correct, Brianna?
I am with Aaron. Aaron and I are in the developer owner realm of this property. Yes.
Okay. Okay, very good. Thank you. Can
Um,
everyone, hold up a second, Rosa. Can everybody see the screen? I know it's small,
Mhm.
but right here is the property that is being, this is Whispering Oaks here. Next to Whispering Oaks, I can't read that lot number, I got it too small. This is privately owned. But next to that property is owned by the county. The county owned one of these properties. Commissioner, we had talked about a discussion. If the county could, somewhere down the line, look into, because the county owns 3 pieces of property around here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties around here. The county owned 1, 2, I think 3. The other 2 is privately owned. We looked at possibly, talked about if the county could obtain an opportunity to come, attain these other 2 properties, and then you will own, the county will own all 5 of these properties, which will help control the traffic or any other, help with the traffic and the building up around that area. Does that, is that something?
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
what I can tell you is, I know it would definitely be a budget issue, but I can talk to, because I'm taking notes, I can talk to our real estate department and see what the plans are for the current properties that we have, because I know the mayor has put a freeze on all vacant property. And so I just have to inquire on what the plans were when they purchased it, if it is for, expansion of Hiawassee Road, like what were the plans when they purchased that property? If it was for drainage, I'm not sure, but I can definitely find out.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Yes.
Rosalind?
Aaron, how long do you all think you're gonna own this property for? Because as I understand it, Westgate have been sold 3 times. So is this a long process for you all? Do you plan to keep this property and keep it maintained, as you say?
Absolutely, we do. Part of the process that we go through is long holds. So we develop them and then we hang on to them. So it's definitely in our best interest to make sure that it's built really well and it's maintained really well, because most of our properties that we have developed, we keep and we hang on to for a long time. So this isn't something where we're looking to build it and sell it in a year or anything like that. This is something that we would build and hold on to.
What properties do you own in Orlando here that we can maybe look at?
That's a good question. Brianne might be able to help me out if she can think of some off the top of her head. I'm trying to think if we have any in Orange County or in Orlando. I can definitely get back to you.
Sorry, Aaron, I was running outside so that it wasn't loud again. So this would be our first new construction deal in Orange County. We have completed about 20 throughout the state.
Oh, wow.
oh yeah, Orange County has just opened up. They've been really pushing hard for affordable housing and really helping us serve that community. We own a couple in Orange and a couple in are ones that were built in the early 90s, and we've just purchased them over time. So you can go see how clean we keep them, but they wouldn't be the same architectural style or anything like that.
Okay, I mean, how close are they? Give us a name.
You have Watauga Woods and Raven Crossing.
Okay, where is that?
Watauga Woods is in Altamont Springs.
Okay,
And Raven Crossing is in Orlando proper.
okay, thank you.
No problem.
There's a question, hold on, Dr. Nichols. There's a question in the chat, which I was gonna ask anyway, and someone put it over here. It says, will there be resident support such as the use of a copy business center, use of the clubhouse, incentive for resident to purchasing housing? And that's a good question, because I was thinking the same thing too. Would the clubhouse be such that we can, businesses or agencies such as the Pine Hills Community Council could come in and utilize that space and teach life skills or some type of support for those residents about home ownership, or Orange County Sheriff Department could come in and have National Night Out and talk about the safety. So would that be such a use of that clubhouse for that purpose?
Yeah, so our clubhouses typically are designed in a way where there is some space, a business center or something like that. And we also typically do incorporate different kind of programs. One of those I know that we've done before are home ownership programs, job training programs, and we're certainly always open to, especially local partners who have an interest, who have done that sort of thing before, because specifically, what would best serve the community and what sort of things would help the people in the neighborhood best. So there definitely is going to be some space in the clubhouse, and then some programs that will be incorporated as well.
Very good,
Yeah,
thank you.
so I was going to expand just a little bit, and then because you did someone specifically did ask about the home ownership opportunity. We are offering resident programs in addition to the community events that Aaron's talking about, but employment training, after school care, or after school homework care, and home ownership opportunity, where if a resident pays their rent on time and opts into the program, we will give them 5% of all of the rent that they've ever paid as an incentive for a down payment on a home if they go buy their own home.
Wow.
So that program's been really, really fun. Unfortunately, we haven't had a whole lot of folks sign up. It's pretty wild, because when we move folks in, they get a flyer and they get like a opt-in notice and everything like that. Additionally, we have fall events at every single one of our properties. So we own 74 in Florida, about 10,000 units. So we do fall activities. So it's usually around Halloween, where we do treats and, like a decorate your own pumpkin kind of thing. We additionally do free backpacks for all of the students that live in the property right before they go back to school. And we usually host that in conjunction with a night out with the police officers and things like that. So we're definitely actively engaged in the property. And if you guys did want to host additional programs, we would love it. Well, a couple of our properties, we have churches come out and do Bible studies and things like that. And it's always great to have the community involved.
It is. Thank you very much. I like that. There's 3 hands up. Is Leslie, Dr. Nichols, and Deborah. Deborah Carwise?
Yeah, but I was just clapping.
Oh, okay. Dr. Nichols, I'm gonna go to Leslie since she has not asked a question. Then I'm gonna come to you, Leslie. Leslie, you have a question?
Yes, I posed a question about the business center and also the incentive. So the incentives for the residents. So my follow-up question was regarding, you said there is a yearly opt-in? So on residents, when they move in, is that the only opportunity to opt in to receive the incentive for home ownership?
So your question is, they must do it when they initially move in,
Sorry.
or can they do it to a year down the line?
So it's initially, and then anytime they renew their lease. So for
Okay.
example, if they decide they don't want to do it when they first move in because they can't even imagine dreaming of owning a house, the next time they renew their lease, which is usually every year, they will have the opportunity to sign up again.
Okay. And I have two more questions. And so just to follow up to that, and they're educated, are they educated at that time when they renew their lease on the benefits of the program? How's the program advertised?
Yes, we have flyers that go around with it, as well as a lease addendum that you would sign. With the homeownership enrichment classes, I think someone offered to also host one of these, so I was going to post my information in the chat as well. But we'll have folks come out and do that, do seminars and how to save for buying a home and what home ownership means. But that's kind of, they can take those classes. Again, they're not required to, but they can opt in.
Okay, thank you. My last question, that's awesome to hear. I think it's a great program to offer to residents. And then the last one was, I think you answered it, to put your.
We did not hear that last question.
Can you hear?
Now we can, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. The last question, well, a statement rather, is we would like to offer, partner with you all to offer free parenting education. And we're a nonprofit in the community, and we're licensed mental health professionals. So I will take down your contact information, and thank you.
Perfect. Do you go to Jacksonville?
We're not in Jacksonville.
I need some help in Jacksonville. Okay. All right.
We'll talk.
Okay.
All right.
Dr. Nichols, yes.
Thank you, and I'm taking myself off mute. I just wanted to get some clarification related to the floor and ceiling related to the rent. What is your starting rent? You mentioned that it was $50K as the top end, but 2 times minimum. Do you have that clarified at this time, or is it something you're still working on?
We do, and the rents typically they're dependent on area median income, so it can change from year to year. But I'm actually gonna pull up for you, and I'll let you know exactly what our rents will be. Sorry, I should have had that pulled up for you already. And so the 2 bedrooms, $970, and then the 3 bedrooms are, let's see, $1,121. That would be including water, sewer, and trash.
Okay.
Thank you. Not bad.
So what's the next step, Erin? I mean, what's the next step if provided that things go all as planned, when can we start seeing some dirt move and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we're excited to move some dirt, but it still takes quite a bit of time.
Okay.
The first step, I guess it's not Tuesday, the BOCC meeting, but I'll figure out
That's
when.
what that lady told us, Erin.
I know, we got some bad information.
Mhm.
But I will ask and find out when the next when will be on the agenda for the BOCC meeting. So the initial step, or the first next step, is getting approved for the special exception and the height variance.
Yeah.
And then after that, then we start moving into the full site plan. So our civil engineer will get into parts of of building the site and drainage and all those sorts of things that he is much more qualified to speak on than I am. But it's typically a pretty lengthy process. So we're still a little bit ways away until we are able to fully submit for site plan approval. Then we'd also be submitting for building permits. We'd be applying for tax credits as part of a low-income housing tax credit application. We'll be submitting that a little bit later this year, here in a couple months, actually. So there's still some steps to take for sure, and a lot of time to hear more from you all and to get your input. But this was very helpful. I think I'm really excited on the chance to be able to partner with you all to help provide some of the programs at the property.
Miss Patricia,
Yes, ma'am.
I can't get my little hand to go up, so I'm sorry to interrupt.
It's okay.
But I have one more question. You're new to Orange County and particularly to Pine Hills. Pine Hills is actually hills. We're rolling hills and we have high elevation down to a low elevation. And I'm concerned about the runoff because we've had cases of flooding, most recently at Powers Drive and Silver Star Road, because of the drainage, how the drainage was constructed to go into the certain drainage areas. And I'm concerned because your drainage, your building backs up to a single family resident, and that it is a total, it's a huge drop in elevation, and how your runoff is going to impact them when we have torrential rains or a hurricane, because I just have concerns. They also have several shopping centers that are back into the lower elevations where the runoff goes. I know that personally, a Devon shopping center is one of them. Water comes off the hills and they have to be they had to put in a lift station. I know that there are, how the water runs off and down the hill is very important to us. So it probably is something you don't think about being in Pine Hills, but Pine Hills actually has the highest elevation in Orange County in Pine Hills. And the drops are severe. And
we have the topographical survey to prove that, ma'am. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Our slopes are very significant. So
I mean, Powers Drive is not too far. I mean, it's just on the other side of the next street over is Hiawassee, and you know the Powers and Hastings have notoriously had flooding on the lower as water comes off the hills and the streets.
Yeah, drainage and runoff was one of the first things that our civil engineers started to look at, because like Brian said, there's a pretty significant change in elevation, like I mentioned, on that southern portion of the site. So our civil engineer has already started incorporating drainage and retainage in his plan. So on the site plan that I showed a little bit earlier, we're going to have several retention ponds, so that will help with the water draining there. And then also, I think directly south of our site, there is a wetland, but most of the drainage, even on our major rain events, our civil engineer is planning it in a way that it will, from what he has told me, it certainly will not make things any worse. Worst case scenario is things stay the same, but best case scenario is that drainage actually improves a little bit based off the improvements that we're able to make on our property. But drainage is certainly something that we're taking into account, because we understand that
my biggest concern is the building closest to the single residence. That there's a series of homes in there where you pointed it out when you were talking about Orange County has it as a drainage area. And if that should overflow, that would immediately impact the single family residence.
So in where that parcel is, the way our site slopes, it would be very unlikely that our runoff is going to go over there. It's going to run south and southeast. I don't know if my camera's oriented in the way where that makes sense, but it's going to run south and southeast, and it shouldn't go all over into that parcel that you're mentioning.
Okay.
There is a home right behind the retention pond or wetlands, or what you want to call it. right on the side, there is a home right behind, right behind the retention pond.
Yes.
Are you gonna have your runoff there? Because that will greatly impact that home right there.
That's, we were just talking about that, Rosalind.
No, not on Hiawassee Highlands, right behind the, there's the retention pond.
Aaron, bring your map up again.
Yeah, and then there's a home right behind the retention pond.
Oh, could you make me host again?
I know somebody, Dr. Nichols, are you host? Make host. I'm trying to click onto you, Aaron. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Yes. Perfect.
All right, let's see. Oh, share screen.
Let me get some clarity here.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you.
So which area are you referring to?
Okay, show me the retention pond.
So there's one here. And there's
Okay, there's a home right on that side. Yes, there's a home right behind there.
over here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's
Right.
where that's where their retention is.
Yeah.
So this home here is the one you're referring to? Up in
It's
this-
almost, yeah, it's,
Yes.
yes, it's right
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Okay, move this over here. So the way the topography works with the site is water is going to drain this direction. So here it'll drain straight down, and on this side it's going to drain in this direction. So really this is uphill from this section here. So
Oh,
water
okay.
water shouldn't be running down this way because that would be uphill. So it's going to be going down this direction.
Yes. So as water is running off the north side of that last building, that's what I'm concerned of.
Mhm.
Up here?
Yeah, right there.
Right. So again, that would be this
So
would
that
way.
when you go up north, when you have a Alta Westgate is right north to you,
Mhm.
and they have a very small wetland buffer.
Yeah, and again, this based on the topography and the survey that we have, it's very unlikely that a significant amount of water is going to run from up here this direction because the site's sloping down this way. So even though the proximity, it's really close, the way that the property itself, the land is oriented, the way it's sloping, water is going to run down here. And that's why we have this retention pond here versus, putting this retention pond up here because all this water is going to drain this direction, even up.
Yeah. Are you going to have a wall between you and Alta Westgate?
No.
We'll have a landscape buffer and a fence. So no actual wall, but we'll have, trees and shrubs and that sort of thing, and also a fence.
Oh, because I'm concerned about that because water comes down from them. They're higher than you. All that water is going to be coming into those buildings.
Into these buildings up here. That's
Yeah.
also something, again, our civil engineer is able to design things in a way where we won't have any issues with water running into our buildings. There may be instances where we get a little bit further into diving into the site planning process, where if we need a wall, we can do that. But from what I understand, what he's told me so far, a wall won't be necessary up in this area. But again, it's definitely in our interest to make sure there's no standing water on the foundations of our buildings. So we're going to do whatever we can to make sure.
Are you going to be wood or block?
We're going to be wood frame.
Okay, so your foundation where water would be splashing up would be onto the wood. Are you going to have some type of block foundation up to a certain, because you are in a wetland area, water is going to be coming downhill, splashing? The reason I'm asking about this is they've had a tremendous amount of problems over the years in Rosemont. And Rosemont was built in a wetland area, and they've had to redo a number of their apartment complexes because of the moisture barrier problem, and the way the water drained around everything. I'm just trying to be proactive here because you are not familiar with what goes on in Florida and in Orange County with our torrential rains. So
We are based out of Tampa, actually.
So
Okay.
we've
We're
done
very,
practice.
very
We know
aware of
about
what
rain in
happens in
Florida.
Florida.
We are very.
Yeah, but again, we're hills. We are a hill.
Ma'am, I really appreciate you thinking of that for us. But as Aaron said, we're the long-term owners. We have to own the property at least 15 years. So we're not going to do anything that's going to ruin our property.
Okay, but
Okay, no, I just need some clarification, please. On the side that you said that the water will run, that you will have the water running, and there are houses on that side?
Over here?
No, on the longer side. Here.
Down here?
Yes, right. Are
No,
there houses?
no,
Okay.
no.
They're not.
Those are
Okay.
property that, Rosin, those are the property that I was addressing earlier with the commissioners. There's
Okay,
4 different
okay,
lots there.
okay,
Yeah, so there's no property there.
okay.
Okay, Aaron, you can stop sharing. If there's no more questions.
I do
it's
have
been
a question.
Who is that? Okay, no, thank you,
My
Noah.
hand is up.
My bag. I see your hand up now, Noah.
That's all right, not a problem. Aaron, thank you for taking the time out to meet with us this evening. And I as a realtor, I applaud that project because there is a shortage of rental properties, not just in the area. And my question is simple: will you be co-broking with realtors? Like we bring clients to you, pay us a referral fee or something?
To be honest,
I thought it's a simple question.
No,
Really
yeah, it was
simple,
super simple. And as a recovering real estate agent, I know where you're coming from. But since it's all rental and they have to meet very specific IRS guidelines, and we're really bound by the letter of the IRS code and Florida Housing Code, we cannot do anything like that, which is a real bummer. But you know, we can have you come out and host events for folks who are going to go buy properties after they move out of Whispering Oaks.
Well,
I didn't even get one laugh.
I applaud your project. So if
I didn't even get one laugh. Come on.
I will still send people your way regardless.
Wonderful.
It's hard to find rental properties, and I guess I'm assuming there'll be new properties that have been nice for my clients, and when they're ready to buy, they'll remember what I did for them.
We have a couple of people that's calling in. Myra, do you have a question? Are you okay? Myra is still on the line? Okay.
I'm still on, but no, I don't have any questions.
Thank you, Myra. Okay, we've been doing good. I thank you all for coming on. Thank you, Aaron. Commissioner, do you have any closing comments? Thank you for hanging in here with us. This is in your area.
Yes,
thank you for keeping us informed of what's going on in this area.
Yeah, no problem. You know, my objective tonight was to listen to the residents, and I wrote down some notes, and I have, you know, once the applicants get through, before they even come to the board, to set up a meeting, because I wrote down some other things that I would like for them to answer, but not at this time. But I was just here to, you know, just to get the feedback from the residents. I just thank the residents. I mean, we have a lot of folks that are on this Zoom meeting, so I am impressed, and Pine Hills never seems to disappoint. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Again, Aaron, thank you for following through what the zoning has suggested, that you follow through with the council, because the council is very active in this community, as you can see. So let's just be partners and stay in contact. Thank everyone who has joined in onto this call tonight. The Pine Hills Community Council is here for you. We meet the first Tuesday of every month. Go to our website at info, I always get it wrong, info@pinehills.info. That's our email address. Noah, what's our website? He's a board member. What's our website? Let me tell you in a minute. Google Pine Hills Community Council.
Pinehills.info.
Okay, thank you. You're right, pinehills.info. If this is your first time on the call tonight, go to pinehills.info and know more about what this council is doing. Again, thank you, everyone. If all minds are clear, no more questions, we could call this night a successful night.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.